we're going to have a surplus of time, leisure time or non-working time is going to be in an abundance for our species. First time ever. That's going to be interesting for what that does for society.
And it relates to what you're sharing with this idea of time and what people are going to do with it. And, I can't help but make relationships back to things like the Civilian Conservation Corps. And, we think like the New Deal in the 30s when, a lot of people associate these government programs that were focused on staffing our national parks. They were focused on, getting people out into the community with only economy, like only the actual fact that people needed jobs. But when you go back and you read the New Deal, which I'm a nerd, and I was curious about the corollaries, you find that a lot of the data that they were actually acting on was what they referred to as listlessness and malaise. And that is my big fear, is like, I think people are going to have opportunity, but they're going to lack clear incentive to go and get engaged or to get involved.
And I wish I had enough time to really think about this, because the next phase of my life, I want to, after I'm done, the commercial side, I want to go into the civic side and make our country the greatest, continue to make it the greatest place in the world for as many people. And that's how I think you can help as many people as possible. And when I talk to a lot of guys I grew up with, and then I talk to like my father's generation, the Vietnam era, and my grandfather's generation, the World War II era. I just dated how old I am. People talk about it's hard to think about war as a positive thing, but some of the greatest experiences they had were when they were in the military, not because of the horrors of it, but because of the community they had, and the feeling of being a part of a team and a community and family and like that. And you indicated this, it built Hoover Dam and all that kind of crap, but it also brought hundreds of thousands of people, A, together, and B, it gave them purpose. Sitting around thinking in your head all day is a great way to start revolution, a great way that craziness just happens. Look at every major revolution, like the Russian Revolution. What happened? Why did the Bolsheviks take over? Because people sat around all day and needed something to blame, and crazy ideas can come about. So I think I have that big worry. I have a worry about the financial stability when the tax base changes so rapidly. How do you address it? The haves are going to have so much more. The have-nots will be more. Society has to adjust for that. I also worry like you mentioned, will people volunteer more and do more work? One of the things that we're working on at the SPCA is how do we make it so we need fewer humans so we can help more animals? I don't need 50 people to do stuff. If I have 4 agents or, maybe I need 10 people instead of 50, like everything's going there. So how do we solve that problem? And I don't know. I think that we'll see.
Yeah, that's such an interesting problem.
Yeah, like a resurgence in the creativeness, like the arts. And let me tell you, like I have no musical ability. I've tried to learn the piano 3 different times. I suck. And it's one of the things I hate, the fact that I have no ability there.
Same here.
I'm creating music in AI. Like I'm not playing it, but I'm creating new music. And so I worry. I wish I had the answers, but I worry that we'll see the potential for social instability, I think, is getting higher, not just because people will be out of a job, but because they won't see it's going to happen so fast. It's happening so fast. I don't know if that's helpful enough.